you could see the innocence leaving.
Yes.
You could see it, like, just drift off. You could see it, and it's like, I don't necessarily know. This morning, I approached my wife because I wanted to have a discussion with the boys about anti-black racism. She was against it, saying that they're too young, 7 years old and 6 years old. I explained to her that they're not babies anymore, that at least they should be notified about what's going on. She hunched over and she cried and said, "This is not fair," which I totally understand because it's not. You have to be aware. You have to move different. So I want to share with you the conversation that we have with our children, because I feel like I've never seen someone actually talk about this to their child. And I feel like this is something that you might need in the future. Maybe to do it like us or do it totally different. As a patron, we want to thank you so much for just being a part of our tribe and our community, our family. Attached is a PDF so that you can walk through this if you need to. It outlines everything that we discussed, how we discussed it, and if you need to use this as a guide to have a conversation with your child, by all means, use it and share it with someone who you care about. Thank you for watching.
No, what we're talking about is the fact that you know that you are a good kid, right? Mm-hmm. What else do you know is true about yourself?
That I like playing Nintendo Switch.
You do like playing Nintendo Switch. What about, do you know that you're smart?
Mm-mm.
You don't know that you're smart?
Mm-mm.
You are smart.
I'm not.
Why do you say you're not smart?
Because sometimes I follow on my brother's tricks.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not smart. That just means you are outsmarted.
But you still are smart. You have a thirst for knowledge. I love the way that you like to read. You are caring. Look,
Hey.
I'm trying to talk to you. You are caring.
Caring.
You always stick up for the kid that needs to be stuck up for. You are courageous. You are brave.
Unless there are bugs around.
There's so many things that are true about you, right? That we know this. You know those things about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what Papa is trying to say is that people are going to see you, and without knowing anything about you, all they can see is that you are a good-looking black boy, right? But they're going to see the black skin, and for some
But are
people,
bad kids real?
bad kids are real. Bad kids do exist.
Bad kids, bad people. All
Yeah.
of them.
But
Let me finish.
But you're not a bad kid or a bad person, is what we're trying to say. But some people will see this color skin, and they will start to assume things about you. Do you know what that means?
No.
To assume?
They're going to
That-
guess.
They're going to guess about your character.
Yeah. But what if I guess back and what if they're doing bad stuff, and can I run them back to you guys and tell?
Of course, always.
You can always tell us.
Yeah. But what your papa is trying to say is that some people are going to see the color of your skin, and they're going to think that you're a bad person just because you're black.
That.
Do you understand that?
Why are they gonna think I'm a bad person?
That's because they're stupid.
My friends don't.
Your
No,
friends do
don't.
not, because they know you.
Yeah.
They know all those things that we said about you to be true. They know that you're smart, that you're kind, that you love people, that you're courageous, that you're brave. They know all those things about you.
But that's why we tell you not to talk to strangers, because everybody doesn't know you.
But a lot of people know you.
Right. They
Does
think.
that mean you're famous?
Well, it's not about being famous. And so basically, we make the video. The reason why people know who I am is because we make videos about what it is to be black. We make videos about black family. We're a black
And
family.
about dad.
And about dads. True. But people know me because we make the videos. If they didn't know me, they wouldn't care.
If you didn't make the videos, they wouldn't care.
Do you understand that we want you to be very smart about people you do not know? And that includes police.
Are police smart?
Some of them are, some of them are not. But
Well,
they
kinda.
do, but they do have badges and they do have guns. So you have to be smart around them. You can't trust everybody. You can trust your family.
Is there bad polices?
Yes.
What kind of?
We
You
don't
can't
know.
tell the difference.
We don't know what they look
unfortunately.
like, buddy.
I think we saw police. We saw police close by here. Out of our window.
So do you understand what we're saying? We're going to have this conversation again, and you can ask us any questions about police or about being black, or any questions you have, or if someone treats you funny or looks at you weird, you can ask us any questions about that. We want to make sure that you ask us anything or talk to us.
Yeah, but what if they try to grab me and not let me tell you that?
Well, then you run fast and you scream.
How come?
Now listen, if the police come and talk to you at this age, you do not talk to police.
Why?
Just tell
Just
them
don't.
that you need to get your parents.
Yeah, you tell them to talk to your parents. If the police says hi, you can say hi, but if they ask you any questions, you do not answer any questions. You say, I can't talk to you without my dad around and my mom around.
Okay, so what do you say if a police officer starts to ask you questions?
Nothing.
You say, I'm so sorry, I can't talk to you without my parents around. I'm gonna let you start,
Okay.
because you did a phenomenal job last time. So, mommy not gonna talk to you,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, so Theo,
Yeah.
what are some things that are true about you? Tell us about yourself.
Okay. That I do not get much sleep.
You do not get much sleep,
Okay.
I stay up
okay?
in my room.
What about things about your character?
Yeah.
Like,
Me?
Some
Yeah.
qualities about you. Tell us some qualities about yourself. Like, one of the things that I love about you is that you are a really good caretaker. Like, when you
Take
are looking
care
out,
of Uzi.
yeah, not only Uzi, but you do a good job taking care of Anaya and Uriah as well.
yeah, yeah.
You're a good big brother. Remember the time in the ocean when the wave knocked her down and you picked her up and then you turned your body against the rest of the waves so that they wouldn't hit her?
How did I do that?
You don't remember that?
Instinct.
Oh yeah, now I remember that.
You are protective of your brothers and sisters. What else is true about you?
Smart.
Oh, I answered that.
Handsome.
Yeah, also. And I like to ride my bike over the street. And
So, we're not necessarily talking about the things that you enjoy, the things that you like to do. We're talking about the things that we know to be true about you. That you are a good friend, that you are a good person, that you're kind and loving, and you care about people.
You're a leader.
You are a leader. The thing I love about you is that you always see people. Like, you see them beyond what they're showing. You can see when people are hurting, when people are happy, when people are sad.
Like
or
today
mad.
when you asked me what was wrong when I was in the hammock.
Those are all things that are true about you, right? And so the conversation we want to have with you today is that sometimes people are going to look at you and they're going to think that you're a bad person.
Okay.
Why? Do you want to know why?
Nope.
So people might look at you and because they see your skin color, they're going to be like, oh, that guy's bad. Unfortunately. How does that make you feel?
If it's okay with you guys, I don't really care.
What'd you
What'd you
say?
I don't really care if they call me that.
Well, listen, no one's gonna call you that, right? So, what we're saying is like, sometimes, people see, like, people our color, they don't know that we're good people. They don't know that, like we live normal lives and we love our families and we're like nice. You know what I'm saying? Because of things that they have seen, or like on TV. Like sometimes in like the superhero stories, check this out. All the superhero stories you watch, most of them, all the characters that are the good guys don't look like us. There's only a couple good guys and superheroes that look like us. Can you name a few?
Your favorite superhero?
Who's that?
Black Panther.
The Black Panther, and who else?
And
What do the other guys look like?
white.
Right, they're not. They don't look like us. And so what I'm saying is, as weird as this may sound, they do that on purpose. So they make the characters that color, not trying to be mean to us, but they're basically saying that most heroes are going to be white, and that's just not true.
I do not understand.
I know. But I want you to ask all the questions. This is a really safe place for you to ask all the questions in your mind about anything that you're questioning about this situation.
Okay. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, normally when you look at the TV, you look at the characters or you look at what happens on the news, and we don't watch the news, but they mostly, it looks like, that the people who are darker complected and brown skin are the bad guys, right? And so we want to let you know that just because people can't see that you're a good person, that doesn't mean you're not a good person. You're a great person, a good kid, strong, loving, caring, you're not fearful, you're brave, and you're a helper, and all these things. But when people look at you, they may not know that. So that's why we say, hey, don't talk to strangers. And we tell you not to talk to people you don't know, because we don't know what they think about you. And we're not very big on, when you go to the park, everybody that you meet is your friend. We don't know these people. So we try to be a little cautious, which is another word for saying careful, about who we allow to be in our lives, so to speak.
What do you understand about what we've just said?
People are bad?
All people?
No.
Who's bad?
Are you bad?
No.
Right. So, yeah, so we're telling you this because sometimes somebody may approach you and they say, they may ask you a question, or they may say something to you, and you don't have to answer any question. You can always say, I can't talk to you without my parents here. And that includes police. Because we know that there are some good police and there are some bad cops, right? Some good police and some bad police.
Okay.
Do you know that?
I know they're good ones, but not bad ones.
Right. So we don't know who's good or bad. We don't know who looks at us and thinks that we're not good people or whatever. That's why, Papa is very careful. Do you know that about me? Do you know that I'm kind of
Careful?
paranoid or a little...
The thing is, I don't even know if we can call it paranoid anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's paranoid. You know that I don't really trust... I don't like you guys going to the door or speaking to strangers, because everybody isn't your friend.
So what he's saying is, Papa, you know how like you meet a person, right? You meet someone new, or you come into contact with someone new. Papa's first inclination is, I do not trust you, versus, oh, I trust you. And so what he's trying to encourage you to do is like, basically don't just assume everyone's a good person. Do you know what it means to assume? To guess. So let's say someone comes through that door right now and we don't know them. We can't just guess that they're a good person. We have to automatically assume that if we don't know them and they're coming in our house, that they're a bad person.
They might want to harm us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, as a kid that is as handsome as chocolate skin as you, people may think that about you. And so I just want you to be very careful when you're out and about and like meeting neighbors or people. This isn't the last time we're going to have this conversation, but I do want you to like let us know if you're uncomfortable or if someone says anything to you, because they might be judging you by the way you look, not necessarily because you did anything.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I know you don't like uncomfortable situations, and you don't like to talk about, scary things and like things that make you feel weird, but this is okay for you to talk about this right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to have this talk to you before, if something happens, then you won't be like curious why it happened, What else? Any thoughts? Words, questions?
No.
You sure? You want to ask a question without the cameras on? Want to turn the cameras off and ask a question? Or have George leave? He won't.
I don't know if they're having questions.
Okay.
But you know that if you do have a question later today, you can ask us, right?
Yeah.
So this morning, after everything that happened with George Floyd, and the things that's been happening repeatedly with, people being, just because they're black, being racially profiled, being murdered, I had decided that I wanted to have a discussion with the boys about just anti-black racism. And I told Yvette this morning that it was the morning, and she was like, nah. And you can speak for yourself.
I don't know. I just didn't feel like I didn't feel prepared to, I don't know. I feel like we're constantly trying to protect the innocence of our children. And I felt like it's never my desire to like etch away. Is that the word? Is that what they do when they're like sculpting something, but to etch away at their innocence? And I felt like that conversation would be a conversation that wouldn't just be like a little chipping of away, but it would kind of take out a chunk. And I don't know, I was just looking at them being boys and thinking like it's not even fair that I have to have this conversation with you.
Let alone the boys.
Let alone the boys. Right. Like, I don't want to like let the kids go play in the front of the house. I'm going to keep them in the backyard. It's like I don't want them to leave my home. And for me, it's like right now, they don't go anywhere without one of us. It's very rare that they're without us unless they're at their grandparents' house or whatever. But now with COVID, they ain't going nowhere. And so it's kind of like, this is their safe haven and they're safe here. And there's nothing that's going to take them out of their safe haven. And so by having that conversation with them, it felt like we were going to be like opening a door that compromised their safety or their feeling of safety. And so, or my feeling of them being safe. I don't remember whose death it was. And the sad thing about this is I was like, man, because, you know, I'm not following anyone on my Instagram feed, and I don't really go on Facebook. So I didn't hear about George's death until I heard it from Glenn. And even then, I didn't like want to hear anymore.
Yeah,
I kind of shielded myself.
The conversation was, don't go on social media, somebody died. Don't
Yeah.
look at anything, somebody
Yeah.
died, and it sucks.
And so I didn't, because I knew that I couldn't
Yeah.
deal. And then this morning, Glenn came and he said what he said. And I was like, there was a bunch of emotions going on. But as the morning progressed, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't want to become desensitized to the death of Black men at the hands of police officers. And I also don't want to be ignorant to the fact that my boys are Black. And even Anaya, like, I feel like she's just as vulnerable as the boys are. And then Glenn shared an article with me that I read, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'd rather, what was the thing Glenn said? He was like, you don't want to, when do you buy a firearm? Do you buy it after
You have a break-in?
someone's broken into your house or you've been violated or whatever? And it's like more of a preventative measure to, you know, make sure that you're ready to protect yourself or whatever. And so I feel like the conversation, like I was more inclined to be a part of the conversation as I realized that, you know, we don't know. We don't know when our children are going to be met with anti-Black racism. And so it is our responsibility as their parents to equip them with knowledge and understanding, even though I don't know that they fully understand the conversation that we had today of what it means to be a male with Black skin. And so, I don't know. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. It's a few things. When I was invited out to a dad conference where, you know, 99% of the men in there were white. And my talk was how to speak to your kids about racism. And it was awkward. Oh, God. It was painfully awkward. Because people were just kind of sitting there like, this is the Black guy I'm about to ask my question, is this racist? After I got off the stage. You know what I'm saying? So after I got off stage, it was like, hey, is this racist? I'm like, man, if you don't get out of my face with that. So, but my main point was, if you do not have the conversation, you are then giving permission for anybody else to teach your kid what racism is and what they should believe. So anybody else they meet can just be like, yeah, white people bad. Don't mess with white people. You know what I'm saying? Or they could say, yeah, we don't mess with them over there. We don't like this, and these are those type of people. And so that's their first time. So we have to do it before. And once you allow yourself to be ignorant and say, I'm going to we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, then you're inviting someone else to come in and teach them, because people already have their preconceived notions about, you know, other races.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, it wasn't so much about, like, I'm realizing how sad as this is to say, you know, the reason why I started the channel, one of the reasons was because, like, man, if I die, I don't want my kids to just have pictures. Like, I want them to have videos, movies, and memories. You know what I'm saying? So let this conversation be so if something happens to me, you can't say I never told you. And you can watch it again. Like, listen to what I'm saying to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to say it. And we don't necessarily, and I watched, as we had the conversation, you could see the innocence leaving.
Yes.
You could see it, like, just drift off. You can see it, and it's like, I don't necessarily know. We had to have that conversation, and it is not comfortable, and it is not something that we get to like just kind of cruise on by. You know, like our children's innocence was taken. Like we had to give them that dose of reality. Like, look, man, this is the truth, and I don't know, and I'm so sorry, but this is the truth. You're going to be seen as someone because of the way people see you. We can't do anything about it. And it's better that we told them than if we didn't. Now they are young, but it's everywhere. Wait till one of their friends get a phone and are able to see some of the things that we see on a regular that we can't watch anymore. You just never know when it's going to happen. And so, especially Theo, it was like, man, it was like pushing him off a ledge. And you could see his wheels spinning and him not being able to articulate
his
questions. He's just kind of like, nah, I don't understand. You know? And so, the worst conversation. We could talk about sex all day. I'm comfortable with that. Look, man, this is what's going on. But this right here is one of those things where you're just like, you almost want to apologize. You know what I'm saying? Right
here.
Yeah. So today we had a discussion, and ultimately I don't know when's the best time to do something like this, but I feel like as a black parent living in America, we have to maneuver differently. And you know, I wish you the same. If you're struggling to have black kids, because I know some of you guys aren't parents yet, and you're thinking like, man, I'm not even sure I want to bring kids into this earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I would urge you to ask questions to other people who have gone through this, and you know, ask them kind of what's the best way to approach this conversation. You have anything?
And I'll say that if you aren't black, if you are someone who watches this channel, who just watches it because you enjoy our family or because you do want some more context to the black experience, there is a conversation that you guys are called to have as well. There's a conversation that you guys have to be having with your children so they don't grow up to become police officers who kill people because of the color of their skin.
Or just regular people who call the police when they see a black person, you know, doing something extremely regular.
Yeah. There is another side to this conversation, and we don't necessarily know what that conversation looks like or sounds like, but we know that it's necessary. And so it's our responsibility as parents to be having these conversations.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time with some more blackness.
Protect your life and keep your network popping.